Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at Shadow Jumpluff with the move Aerial Ace as well as Solar Beam in the Open Great League. And I kind of wanted to play this as a troll, but it turned out this Pokemon is actually insane. So let's take a look at this one here. I actually made a huge mistake here by swapping into the Sableye, because the usual moveset, at least for the opponent's Goodra, is going to be the Awkward Tail plus Power Whip, but there was also a different influencer recently who was kinda trying to popularize this Pokemon here with Draco Media. So if you're confused why I decided to go now also into my Jumpluff and decide to use a Shield here on the first one, it is just because I saw it also before already with the move Draco Media, so like that's why I decided to use a Shield here. Of course, obviously they don't have it if they are going for the Awkward Tail here, but I can overfarm by quite a bit, and so we're gonna end up with quite a lot of energy. This is going to be great for us as we can now try to reach out for that Solar Beam. Is this going to be enough to knock them out? Let's find out here. First, boom, going to knock them out, and in comes a Trevenant, and sadly we're going to lose the game now because Trevenant is not what I wanted to see. We are kinda way too low for this Pokemon as well, and now we're just going to have a Lantern here against the opponent's Trevenant, but it is what it is. You cannot win them all, right? We can still take one Seed Bomb here. It is going to connect and going to do quite a lot of damage, but not enough to knock us out or let us into farm down range. And so as we can see, we do quite some decent damage here just with the Thunderbolt. I did not really want to risk a CMP tie, so what I decided to do here is I just decided to go straight for the Surf, and as you can see, they're kinda getting low. And we're actually going to be able to win this game. Kinda hilarious. Let's move on to the next opponent. Look, it's basically the worst possible lead. Let's see what we can do about this. We would have, of course, the Solar Beam for later on, still available on our Pokemon. Here they decided to go for the Mud Bomb, which is kinda annoying, but they swap out into a Shadow variant of the Skarmory. Kinda want to maybe make a video about this Pokemon as well. Do you want to see a Shadow Skarmory review? Because I feel like it has some potential. Not too sure if it's going to be better than the normal one, but it definitely has more potential since the attack update basically there with the Steel Wing. Before, compared to like Air Slash variants or whatever, the normal one was way better because Air Slash didn't do as much damage, but now with Steel Wing getting above, it might be better to go ahead and go for the Shadow variant. As you can see here, I really tried to realign myself because I kinda need to, because I don't really want to have the Whiscash aligned against my Lantern, and as my Pokemon in the pack, it's going to be very, very good against the Whiscash. I definitely kinda enjoy the matchup later on here. Here I can still take this move. I was hoping that the opponent just lets the next move go through, because I'm a little bit scared of that Dragonair, I have to say. But as you're gonna see here, the opponent decides to go ahead and shield this move up, which is kinda annoying. But we can actually outspeed them here with the Aerial Ace. It is actually a CMP type, which is a little bit annoying, but the cool thing about Jumpluff, by the way, is, which I did not know prior, you are going to be able to just go for the second Aerial Ace one fast move earlier, which I never really realized during the battles, which was kind of funny just at the end of it. But here we're going to be in a scenario where Whiscash is going to have a great time. Not great enough though, because you can still go for a Solar Beam and say goodbye to the opponent here. Boom! And we can win the game. Solar Beam is not ideal on the Pokemon though. Like I have to say, I have to be a little honest there as well. Solar Beam is just for fun here. It was not really ever meant to be like serious at all. And the fact that I went on an 8-2 streak with this team here is kinda wild, because definitely if I had Energy Ball, there were some matchups that would have been way easier for me to win, because yeah, for example against the Whiscash, you don't need to go for a Solar Beam to knock them out, spoiler alert. An Energy Ball would have been enough as well. So like, it is a little bit of an hindrance that we were running a Solar Beam here, but of course it's also a lot of fun to play it. But if you want to actually play this team, which I would really recommend you, like this team was so good to play, as you can see here as well already throughout the matchups that we saw so far. It is just a very flexible team here, which is really cool to see. Sableye is still putting in some work as well. We can catch a move here from the Charizard onto our Lantern, and this is going to allow us to align ourselves against a Trevenant. Not that great, but I can still try to go for a bait here, which I'm not too sure if this was really needed, but we're going to be able to succeed with that bait. But I just gonna try to put them actually now into a range where I can just knock them out with a fast move damage. But as you can see here, we will not succeed, but something funny is going to happen now. They go straight for a charge move. This is going to be a double resisted Seed Bomb, because I actually forgot at this point that I had the move start already on the Sableye. And so, yeah, for them this was the correct play to go straight for the charge move. Just very unlucky that the Pokemon that I have here is going to be so good against the Trevenant anyway, and especially against like grass type attacks, that we can just knock them out. In comes the Charizard, out comes the Charizard, and we can easily win this game. Moving on to the next opponent, let's see what they're going to run. Skarmory in the lead, lovely for us. Let's see what they swap into a Whiscash, and so this is going to be another Solar Beam that gonna connect soon. So that's going to be lovely. Scald coming in, I don't care with them going for Scald, they already kind of revealed to us. They are not running any kind of charge move that is going to threaten us. They could run Blizzard, but they don't run Blizzard. And so, let's see here, the opponent is gonna go back into the Skarmory. I can go for a Solar Beam. I think I make a mistake in this battle, by the way. Let's take a look at this one. Solar Beam is coming through, is going to connect, which is totally fine. We're gonna be able to get some nice damage onto them, and they try to go for the full farm now, which is cool for me. Do that, have fun with that. But I think this was one battle where I should have done... Yeah, exactly. Here I should have just swapped out immediately into my Sableye. There's no reason for me to stay in there and just give them energy. Like, I don't know why I did this. It does not make sense. Like, don't do this at home. Just swap into your Sableye. You're totally fine. You still can align yourself against the other Pokemon, the Skarmory, later on with the Lantern. There's no real reason for me to stay in there. So that was a very silly play by me. But it is not going to really hurt us. As you can see already, like, the Pokemon that we still have left, they are all going to be very good here against the opponent. Like, our Lantern is just going to get hit by, like, resisted damage here. All the moves that the opponent has is going to be resisted. Go for your Brave Bird if you really want to. I don't really care. It is going to be actually the Brave Bird. Now we can go for a Shield here as well. It is over. Like, this game is over. There's nothing the opponent can do here, no matter what we're going to really try, because our Pokemon in the back as well are still going to be totally fine here, and soon they're going to realize it as well, and they decide to go ahead and forfeit. Next opponent, so let's take a look at the next opponent. Here we're going to have a horrible lead. We're going to swap out immediately into our Sableye, and I decide to let this move go through. Main reason for this is it's very likely that they decide to swap out afterwards, and they decide to swap out afterwards into a Dewgong. So, at this point, I know the team already. There's a team right now floating around where you have Trevenant, Dewgong as a safe swap, and in the back it is going to be a Bastiodon. I saw some other YouTuber covering this team as well, and so I am in a spot where I have basically no play. Like, I have to be honest here, like, there's nothing that I can really do. I cannot use two shields here, because the opponent is going to have a Trevenant, which is going to do more damage than the Drillrun is going to do here. Like, my only play was to get a ton of energy here, which we're going to try to do, but of course, we're just gonna get completely hardwalled from the beginning till the end. Like, there was literally nothing we could have done the entire game, but at least you're going to see a Solar Beam going to land against a Bastiodon, which is going to be great. Let's see what we can do next. We're gonna be able to now let this, or actually gonna shield this move up because it's my only play. I have to hope that they decide to use a shield here. I know the player, by the way. The player is a very, very top tier battler. I think he's Spanish. And so I know that they know their win con and know that they don't need to shield there. So yeah, good game there. There was nothing I could do. Next opponent, let's take a look at this one. We're going to have Lickitung in the lead. Lickitung is a little bit tricky in the lead for us because our lead is going to be weak against the grass type damage. Our Safe Swap is going to be weak against... I mean, like, we're not gonna really do damage there against them, basically. We're still gonna take neutral damage from the Lick, and we're going to take neutral damage from the Power Whip. Maybe could have used the shield here. It would have been definitely a way to go, but I decided to go straight for the foul play here, which also maybe was a mistake, who knows. The opponent can let this move still go through here, and so we're trying our best to reach another charge move. I hope it is not a Power Whip, and it is a Power Whip, and so we're going to be in a tough spot. But a lot of times, those teams with Lickitung in the lead have a Safe Swap as Gligar and something in the back that's kind of weak to Lantern. So let's see if this is going to be the same. We're going to see here already, it is going to be a Gligar swapping in, and this kind of makes me curious if there's going to be something in the back that we can deal with as well still. But, of course, we don't really know yet, and we just have to hope that there's not going to be a Skarmory lurking there, because then we're gonna go down. But as you're gonna see here, we're going to be able to still go for a charge move. Surf is coming through, we're going to take the knockout. It's going to be actually the Annihilate. And here is something where I was just a little bit confused about, because like here I think it was the first time I realized, oh wait, I actually get to my aerial aces faster than the opponent gets to their night slashes, which is something that I thought would not happen, but does make a lot of sense. I cannot always, I don't know, like I always thought like it's just 5, but it's actually 5 and then 4 for the next one, which is kind of nice to see. And as the opponent tries to go for a bait, we're going to be now in a spot where we are actually going to be able to hit that aerial ace, because it's just going to be a Night Slash. They didn't get the boost with any of the Night Slashes prior, and so they're going to be in a tough spot, because it's going to do some super effective damage. I don't think it does knock them out. Does it knock them out? It does knock them out, and so we can... Okay, one more fast move, and so we can win this game. Next opponent, this is going to be sadly a core breaker, but luckily they're running Powder Snow, and Powder Snow is going to be at least better for our lead. It makes it a little bit of an awkward one for our backline, of course, especially for our Pokemon that's double weak to Ice. But we can still go for a Surf, gonna get the shield here, and we should be able to win this, I think, in the Zero Shield scenario. But I have a fear here, by the way. The opponent is going to outspeed me here. No matter what they're going to do, they're going to outspeed me because the third drill run would take one less fast move than, yeah, basically the other two. So they would be able to outspeed me here. And I was like a little bit scared, and they can go for the charge move here. And I don't think it was a CMP tie. I tried to go for the charge move here, and they can swap out into a Whiscash. And at this point, I was like, no, I needed the damage onto the opponent because, yeah, I can align my Jumpluff now. But I don't have Energy Ball, I have Solar Beam, and so I'm going to end up at like maximum 20 energy here going out of this matchup. And so I need at least 3 more fast moves to knock them out. I tried to undercharge, as you can see here, nearly a 0 bubble, still knocks out a Whiscash because of the Solar Beam against them. But as you can see, they swap back out into the Sandslash. I can actually still get there. But is it enough? We're debuffed from the Scald. It is still enough, and in the back is going to be a Mantine. And so I'm going to try to swap out now onto my Lantern. I tried to catch the move, which did not work out. They can go for the full farm down. But at this point, I really just want to win with just one Solar Beam. So let's see if we can actually do this, because Solar Beam should knock them out from this range, I think. Solar Beam just like, it does so much damage. It is that move, it is like, I think, is it like, I don't know, 180 damage or some stuff like this? I think it's in the main series games. I think it's most likely a bit lower here in this game. But it does definitely a ton of damage. And yeah, being stabbed, being from a Shadow Pokemon is kind of nice. But sadly, the opponent plays like this where they try to get some extra farm down, which does not work for them because I can swap out now and go still for an Aerial Ace. I just didn't have the option to really go for the Solar Beam there, otherwise I would have won. And so we can move on to the next opponent. Lantern versus Lantern. This is something where I feel like it's kind of embarrassing on how I played it. And if I just really done it or whatever, I would have played it completely differently. I would have just went straight for the Thunderbolt. I don't know why I swapped out here. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it does not make sense at all. I would have played it out until the opponent goes for a Thunderbolt in the lead. I'm not really the Lantern player. Like, yeah, sometimes I still have it in teams or whatever. But, like, yeah, this was really silly for me to play it like this, especially as the opponent is going to be now in a position where they can go for a Thunderbolt after they baited me twice here as well, which was even worse. Like, we would have been easily able to survive a Surf here and would have won the matchup again. But, like, now we're going to be in a spot where I really did not want to be in. We're going to have a shield disadvantage and switch disadvantage, and they're going to have in the back here a Gligar. And so, yeah, I feel like if I played better, like, I would have been able to easily had a better position here. It's still not over, but I feel like it is kind of over. Like, not gonna lie, I don't really know. Like, I cannot really see what is going to happen now where we can win this, unless I can catch a dig here, which I can't. So yeah, at this point, they should be able to outspeed me to their next Aerial Ace as well, and so that is going to be very tough. I try my best, but they actually swap out into Annihilate, and here I was very confused, and this was also, I think, this was actually the first battle where I realized, oh, I'm actually faster than them, because I was like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to lose the CMP tie anyway, so I'm over farming. I did not lose the CMP tie because I would have got to the Aerial Ace before them. I don't know how much it would have really mattered, but at this point we're at 1 HP, so they get only 1 farm in, and so they can go for the dig, and the dig is going to knock me out. Super effective from a stab Gligar here. It is not going to be enough, and we can still go for the Surf. Honestly, Lantern has to be nerfed for the next season. It is just way too strong. Here we're going to be able to win the game, and we can move on to the next opponent. Perfect lead, literally perfect lead. Let's see what they're going to swap out into here. We're going to see a Surfetched. And honestly, I see like a weird kind of, I don't know, rise of Surfetched. I might actually going to copy a team that I saw as well today against me with Surfetched, which I liked quite a bit. So have to see, maybe I'm going to copy it. We have to see definitely about this, but yeah, here we're going to see the Surfetched going to go down. This is going to be a little bit tricky because of course the lead is going to enjoy the matchup here. But they're going to have to go for an Ice Beam, and I don't know if they have an Ice Beam. Aerial Ace is not going to be enough. But we're gonna still see one more Solar Beam going to get a boom here, and we're gonna get them insanely low. I tried to just let this move go through. It's going to be the Aerial Ace. I tried to snipe them here with my Lantern, it doesn't work out, and they're going to have a Chestnut in the back. And so we're going to try to do our best. We're going to try to go ahead and go for that Thunderbolt in order to try to get like a little bit of damage onto them. Surf is coming through next here now. This is going to be able to do even more damage. They let this move go through, and at this point I'm like, I don't really want to go ahead and just like, I don't know, go for charge moves anymore. I just want to kind of farm them down at this point. Like, both of their Pokemon are so low. So I actually decided to use a shield here because I expected a superpower, which it wasn't. So that was maybe a little bit silly. But I make a huge mistake. I swap out into the Sableye and they should be able to go for 2 attacks now. And this is going to be very bad. They go for a Frenzy Blade and they can swap out into the Mantine, going for the Aerial Ace. Sadly, this is going to be a loss now. As we... Wait a minute. We can farm them down here. Can we still win? We can actually still farm them down, and let's move on into the final battle of today. Horrible lead, I guess. Not really, actually, but kind of horrible size up for us. We're going to have the Annihilate against us in the lead. We have, of course, 2 good answers in the back, so swapping out here definitely does make some sense. But the opponent plays it pretty well, and I play it pretty poor, to be fair. What I would recommend you to do here is actually just go straight for the foul plays against the opponent's Lickitung. Why? Because usually, like, your play as a Sableye is, okay, I just decide to go ahead and go for a return. I can actually sometimes flip the matchup with, like, 2 returns hitting against this, the Lickitung here. But here, basically, you just want to go ahead and go for the foul play in order to get them low enough for our Lantern to really farm them down, which I didn't do here. So I feel like I could have played this way better. Just going straight for the foul play would have made it so much more secure, at least, like to get some damage onto the opponent, where I don't have to use another shield in a scenario where they can farm me down. As you can see here, there's going to be a Dugong in the back, so like at the end of the day, it is a complete hard counter. Like, there's not really anything that I can do about it. Having a Dugong against a Jumpluff doesn't really help us at all. So I cannot really complain about this too much. But again, still, there would be some improvement in terms of how I play the matchup in order to make the matchup maybe a little bit closer. But still, we can try our best here, going for the Aerial Ace. They decide to let this move go through, and so I can just hope that they use the shield here. But even then, like, I'm going to lose this battle. Like, I don't really have to make it too crazy about it. I decide to use a forfeit button now anyway. But still, I actually got a 5-0 with this team, and also I got a shiny Registeel with this team, which is kind of funny. Went again 8-2 total with a 5-0 and like a 6-game win streak, which is kind of cool. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I see you then. Registeel sadly wasn't too, but at least I got up to 3062 MMR. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then.